You know what? Watch your mouth. Watch your motherfucking mouth, boy. You disrespectful. They got shit out of me. What's up? What's up? You a
Alright guys, so recently underground / alt rapper DC the Don made waves on Twitter for giving a fan at one of his shows the beats. Obviously this got a lot of attention for some very obvious reasons, but I wanted to explain what happened leading up to this moment, the discourse on Twitter, and my take on the whole thing, so let's get into it. Alright, so I played the video of DC the Don, doing the whole thing, but I had to actually cut out the, the because this is YouTube. But yeah, he basically rocks the guy, like it was a pretty solid punch. And there are even multiple angles of everything. So this is what happened, right? DC the Don was performing, whatever, a little bit of background on DC the Don. He's like a quote unquote underground rapper, but he doesn't make he makes I don't know, indie rap, alt rap. And it's considered really corny. You know what I mean? I would say that DC the Don, Young Fazo, and Rich and Mary they're classified under this corny umbrella in the underground. They're really hated on. DC the Don really hated on. Anyways, this fan is talking shit the entire show apparently. What DC the Don does at a lot of his shows, I guess, after doing my research after this moment, is he goes into the mosh pit and just moshes with his fans, which is cool. You're interacting with your community. It's cool, whatever, right? Anyways, so this guy's talking shit. He's talking shit. And then DC the Don, he finally presses him, right? And the guy, he thinks he's all smart, oh, bro, you try. He says what he says. And, yeah, DC the Don just rocked him. Now, a lot of these pages were saying that, now this tweet was just straight up racist. She said, a rapper named DC the Don sucker a white guy in Portland for saying he's no Travis Scott. So, first of all, saying he's no Travis Scott is I get what he's saying. He's oh, you're not really you're not Travis Scott, but it's also just not the craziest insult. I'm gonna go through some of these replies a little later, but Jesus Christ, are they racist? Anyways, Tay Servan, who's this cool underground rap page, says, rapper DC the Don is a 17-year-old in the face for calling him trash. Let's go over some comments. Dork, guy, music still trash. What a dork. Cornball, he it out of him. Holy, he ate that. Easy lawsuit. Brother, who the hell is DC the Don? He threw a fit because his music sucks, haha. However, what was very interesting here to me is a lot of people were really defending DC the Don, which almost goes to show how much of a loser the kid was for talking that much shit and just expecting nothing would happen to him, if that makes sense. And I feel this top comment almost summarizes the whole reaction just really well. This guy Vice Kardashian, he said, music still trash. Basically saying, yo, the fan was a dork, but DC the Don still ass. It just started getting weird when the comments started getting racist. Somebody said, I'm not even gonna say they in here justifying it because mean words. Then they act like violent crime stats are BS. Alright, bro. Music sucks and he okay. But here's my take on it. The internet made y'all too comfortable talking not getting for it and not getting for it. What the hell do y'all expect? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I troll on this channel quite a bit, and in real life with my friends, I do the same thing. I feel we all do. But yeah, saying something like this to someone's face in real life, multiple times and taunting them is just a whole nother level of lacking social awareness. I guess maybe he thought, yo, I'm at a show, he's not gonna do anything. Because if you look at them, they're really they're almost squared up. And then DC the Don just goes for it. Now, before I read that one thread that's full of racist shit, I kind of want to go over this MWell quote tweet, which got quite a lot of interesting responses. So MWell said, talking shit to an artist directly during their set, the hell did y'all expect, man? LMAO. And by the way, they said that DC the Don is a 17-year-old. I think the guy was definitely older because MWell said 17-year-old when the guy has a drink in his hand and a 21 plus wristband. So he's probably 23, 24. He's not a kid. Anyways, someone said, you stay writing E-list rappers. And MWell said, I'm writing for saying an artist got disrespected at a set. LMAO, okay. So MWell and DC the Don are friends, but whatever. Catching a charge at a show that you're not even headlining is some dumbass shit. 1,000,001 people gonna call you trash. You a public artist, you can't react like this. Artists are human too. Y'all are only saying this because you don't mess with DC. LMAO, different artists did this and y'all would gas and say, damn, he's standing on business. Now I'm not gonna lie, if Osama Son did this, oh my god, bro, Twitter would be they'd be oh my god, Aura, oh my god, Lil O, Lil O stood on. Yeah, honestly, that's exactly what they would say. Or Netsbend. I don't know if you guys remember, there was this time, like, it was like a year and a half ago, Netsman was performing at a show, and I think he got like Nick Zero to like press, and I think this graphic designer, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard. I guess it was just funny. Now, I will say though, DC the Don definitely lacked professionalism. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it hurt him like in future bookings slightly. I wouldn't say that everyone's gonna start canceling him for this, but yeah, it's definitely not the right thing to do. I guess this guy just really got on his nerves. You know what I mean? LMFAO, I get it for real, but you can't take the bait. Kids are now born and raised trolls. I just don't think it's fair how we expect artists or celebrities to just sit there and take it though. DC went in the crowd and tried to connect with fans, and this kid decided to be disrespectful. Yeah, I get it. But look, at the end of the day, this kid, guy, whatever, he definitely got humiliated, and DC the Don won this like little interaction, right? At least at the time. On the internet, it's a different story just because of the circumstances. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you watch this channel, you probably live in this bubble where you think like all these underground rappers are cool and rappers are cool, but most people in society almost they view rappers as like degenerates, if that makes sense. So when this was posted online, this got like a ton of like racist hate and just hate. There's this other tweet that said DC the Don when that kid sues him for everything he has. Failed Up Next artist DC the Don sucker a fan last night at a show. The fan reminded him how trash he is and how his career hasn't progressed for an entire 3 years, which resulted in this violent outburst. Yeah, you can look at like the girl who's like, whoa. Yeah, she thought it was so funny until like he did the you can like see her laughing, and then DC the Don just like ready to swing. Anyways, let's go back to this Lauren Witzke person. If you look at her bio, it's Christless King, American First, Christian nationalist, film producer. I help find funding for the right. Yeah, so I guess you got like a Christian, like right-wing community. If you are white, why do you listen to, yeah, we're censoring that music? First mistake. This other guy said, whites need to stop idolizing these. Yeah, I'm not even like reading these full like responses. Black, yeah, saw that too. They are the most emotional race. It's just straight up racism. I'm not gonna lie. Like look at this Abraham Lincoln. Like, you know what I mean? Just f***ed up. And that's also like one of the reasons why this blew up. Like, I feel like if DC the Don did this to another guy who looked like just like him, it wouldn't have had the same reaction online. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this is almost how like the comment sections in people's like posts look like. It's like fans like this guy saying something and then just hiding behind a screen. I feel like I'm kind of describing myself though in like a funny way. Anyways, there's another tweet that said, good, white teen boys treat black rappers like their personal court jesters and always trying to prove they tough/funny/cool by being disrespectful at their shows. I don't know if they're always trying to be disrespectful at their shows. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I don't know, I guess in like certain like live entertainment, it's almost like acceptable to be a little rowdy at shows. Like, for example, in comedy, right? Like for comedians, some comedians like welcome hecklers, if that makes sense. Like, they like it almost so they can like humiliate them, and it's like part of the banter and the whole like show routine, you know? I guess with the rappers, it's obviously different because number one, they're not interacting with the crowd in the same way, but also at the same time, like, I don't know, like they're like Travis Scott sets where he's like, oh, just jump the fan, just as a joke. I feel like that's almost like a way cooler approach to it, just because you're not putting your hands on the person yourself. You're still being an asshole, but it's almost like you're letting the crowd just take care of the problem itself. And just, it kind of creates like a cool moment, I guess. IRL. Anyways, let's read some of these comments. Rapping is basically modern day minstrelsy, stereotyping ghetto men performing to a majority white audience. Minstrelsy, sorry. That was like, it was like an American form of theater where like it was where white actors used to wear like blackface back in the 20th century. Literally, it's weird. I've seen this at shows multiple times, but I'm glad I finally got to see someone actually not tolerate this. I bet he won't do that again. Yeah, to be honest, if there's one thing about this interaction, this guy's definitely never, ever, he might honestly just be traumatized. Like, he might probably never go into a show again. Maybe he was drunk because he had a drink in his hand. Like, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. It's like it's also kind of funny because it's happening in Portland. Like, if you know anything about like America, Portland's not really like the most violent city, you know? The other thing too, and this is the final point I want to bring up, is like the really weird moral compass when it comes to like hip hop fans in situations like this. So instead, DC the Don getting far more hate for a grown man who was talking shit versus all the other rappers who punch up on women. Y'all are backwards. So, I mean, yeah, he kind of has a point here, but obviously everything is subjective. I feel like people like you, they'll always find a reason to, like, you know, keep that image of you or impression of you in their heads. And if they dislike you, they'll do their best to justify that, you know? And DC the Don has a lot of haters, so that didn't really help him here. But I will say, like, most people came to his defense, at least in the rap world. I do think though that, like, it's just funny because, you know, obviously there are people like Cardi and other rappers, you know, like I'm trying to think of like Boston Richie or I don't know, just rappers doing like crazy shit to women, and they get like no one really like talks down on them or even like bats an eye sometimes because it's almost normalized, you know? I also feel like, and I don't even want to make this about race, but I feel like the whole thing about like this white kid getting rocked by DC the Don, part of the reason why fans are probably having this type of reaction, or certain fans, is because they almost feel like, oh my god, it's like they see themselves in the fan, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are a lot of people, especially on Twitter, who are literally talking all day. They're like, damn, like, like, oh my god, you got in the face? Oh. But yeah, that's kind of all I really have to say about the situation. There's nothing more. I still think DC the Don's music is pretty trash, to be honest with you. But I mean, it's not trash, it's just generic, you know? But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and yeah, I'm gonna keep uploading daily. Peace.